Is your $240 per year photo subscription worth canceling after using this one-time payment alternative? As a product manager and a photographer who values efficiency, this one's changing my photography workflow. I'm Cesar, and like many of you watching this, I'm always hunting for tools that streamline my workflow and maximize my limited time outside my 9 to 5. When DxO contacted me to try their suite of products, I thought another photo editor, but after using it for a while, I'm genuinely surprised about what I found. Full disclosure, DxO gave me access to test their products, but they didn't pay me for this review, and I have complete creative freedom in it. If after this video you want to try out DxO for free, there is a link in the description, and if you decide to make the switch, you can use my code at checkout for a discount, and I'll get a small commission that supports these videos. Alright, so let's get to it. Here's the thing about subscription-based photo editors. You're paying about $20 monthly, plus additional credits in AI features, plus your photos are processed in the cloud. That is $200+ per year, and you're sharing your photo data with servers you don't even control. But what if I told you that there is a one-time payment alternative that includes AI noise reduction, automatic lens correction, and local processing, features that other tools actually charge extra for? Enter DxO. DxO Labs has been in the photo game for years, but they take a different approach. Instead of a massive application, they offer specialized tools. So we have PhotoLab, which is their main RAW editor with AI-powered corrections. We have Pure RAW, which cleans up your RAW files before you edit them. Viewpoint, which fixes perspective and distortion issues. FilmPack, which adds authentic film looks, and the Nick collection, which are creative plugins for Photoshop and Lightroom. But here's what makes them special. They create custom profiles for every camera and lens combination. We're talking about thousands of combinations tested in their labs. That means automatic corrections that actually understand your specific gear. And this is one of the things that got me. Alright, so let's get to it and start editing some pictures in DxO PhotoLab 9. This is the software that I'm going to use, and actually their main software, and from here you can edit actually using some of the features from their other tools in here, or of course, you can just go directly to the other tool that you're using. One of the things that I like the most about DxO PhotoLab and DxO in general is that you will see all of your folder structure on the left side panel, and you don't have to be creating folders specifically for the editing tool. The other thing is that as soon as you open DxO PhotoLab, you will get a dialog that asks you how much correction you want in each of your pictures. So you can either pick none, only optical, or basic. And if you for some reason pick none, like I did for example, what you can do is go to the settings, and then here under auto apply presets, select the one that you want. And actually you will get even more options in here. I will not do any of these changes here right now because I want to show you how I edit a picture from scratch. So let's do it. So here I've selected one folder that has one picture that I want to edit, and then I'll go to the customize tab at the top left. And here is where the magic happens. So I will do all of the edits. I will show you more or less how this works. One of the most important things when using a new piece of software, especially if you're used to something else, is to just get used to the UI. And here basically is divided in a very similar way that you would have, for example, in other editing tools. On the left side panel, you will have information about the tool itself and also about your picture. At the bottom, you will see all of the pictures if you had more on that specific folder. And on the right side panel, you will see all of the editing options and settings for this specific tool. So let's focus on the right side panel, which is the most important one if you want to make changes. The very first thing that you're presented with are the basic tools, which of course just combine everything that you would need, let's say, to have a basic change of the picture. We start with the color to make some color corrections, and in this case, let's start by picking something that's white, and it does a quite nice color correction here. And you can also pick from a setting, and this is also where you will see some patterns when using DxO PhotoLab. You can go and do changes yourself, but you will have some presets as well for if you want to go a specific route without having to deal with all of the small details. I will go for custom, but you can change based on whatever you want. Here you have many options like you would have in your camera, for example. Then you would go into exposure, and here you can change the exposure based on whatever is it that you want. I will bring back to what it was before, or again, you will have some presets. And the presets that you would see are very similar to what you would see in your camera as well. What do you want to prioritize in terms of exposure? Do you want to prioritize nothing and just have an average? That's the first option. Or if you want to go and prioritize the highlights, you can go for different levels. So let's try with going to highlight priority strong. What I'm expecting here is that the background, since it has more light, will be seen better, and the front not so much, which is not what you want with a picture like this one. There you go. So we're pretty much darkening the character and then putting focus on something else. I don't want to go that way. I will just go for manual for now, and then maybe make some tweaks based on this. And some of the tweaks could be here in the selective tones. You can either make changes on the highlights, in the midtones, in the shadows, or in the blacks. Let's do, for example, the midtones a little bit up, because that is where normally skin colors go, and the skin color here is a bit dark, or darker than you would want. I think somewhere over here it looks a bit better. And blacks, I want to keep some contrast, so I will not change the blacks too much. So as you can see, again, you could go the preset route, or you can go the nitpicky route, or you can use the preset route first and then make changes based on that. There are some other options that you will see down here that DxO provides you with for if you want to make specific changes. Those are new, like this DxO Smart Lighting, which will allow you to have a bit more dynamic range in your picture. Let's try it out, but I don't really think it will work for this picture. And actually it does. I'm surprised about this. It gives me more pop in the picture, and it just evens it out a bit more. In some pictures you really don't want to go too even because you want to create that contrast. But in this case, even though I already set it with the blacks, I think this is looking quite nice. I will just keep it. And again, similar with the other options, you will see the pattern of finding some presets, let's say, that you could use. Here I'm using the slide mode, or I could go strong, which I think it goes too much into it. So slide I think is okay, and maybe even the intensity I will bring down a little bit. I think somewhere there is fine. And if you're caught doing so many changes that you don't remember anymore how your picture used to look like, what you could do is do some comparison. And at the top you will have that option over here. So you click it and you will see how the picture looked before and how the picture looks now. If you click it again, you will change the way in which you're doing the comparison. The one that I really like actually is this one right here, which gives you this slider that you can move to the left or to the right to see how it looked, and actually to compare specific parts of the picture, which I think is quite cool. So I'm just gonna go back to the normal full picture, and over here I will just go over the other options that you will have on the side panel, which are quite standard in terms of editing software, so there's no surprises here. You will have the contrast if you want to change it a little bit. I will not make any changes in the contrast, but of course you can do that. And then you have options for color correction and color grading. So toning, for example, where you can do some split toning and make changes to the highlights and to the shadows in terms of colors and which tone would they have. Also HSL, which I found very cool, that when you pick a color, for example, let's pick red because it's a lot here, then it actually shows you which part of the color wheel you're changing, which I find really cool. So let's see if we make any change here and it doesn't affect the faces, because reds, even though, yeah, it's part of the clothes here, it normally has some parts in the face as well. I will not do any change, to be honest. I think it looks okay-ish for this picture at least. Now, as I mentioned, when you have other software by DxO installed in your computer, you will also have some of those options in DxO PhotoLab. For example, for Viewpoint, you can just open this part right here and make changes to the geometry. So if there is a horizon that's not okay, or if there is some weird shape that you don't like, you can make a change over here. And in the same way, you can summon FilmPack, which is their software for film emulation. I will not do any film emulation over here, but just so that you know, if you have other software by them, you will probably see some of those features in DxO PhotoLab as well. Okay, so now the picture looks decent. Let's make some changes to take it to the next level. First of all, what I would do is crop a bit, because I think that the character looks great, but there is too much noise and too many things going on. So what I would do is just narrow it down to the character herself. So for this, you either press the letter R or click on crop. And what I like here, what I would like to do is just narrow it down almost as if it was just a portrait. I think this looks okay. Let me do it a bit more. Let's go all the way. Maybe less. This is quite okay. The conditions in which I took this photo were at night, inside, with a lot of artificial light, of course, which means that, well, my lens was already struggling with trying to find good lighting, and this means that I'll have some grain. There are tools from DxO that will help you with this, and let's have a look at those right now, because in the right side panel we went through all of the basic features and basic settings that you would do in a picture, but if you want to go specific or by theme, let's say, you can pick one of these small tabs. So you have light, you have color, you have details, you have geometry, and you have watermark and effects. And there is one more tab that's a bit to the right that it's about local adjustments and masks. Let's go there a bit later, not just yet. For now, I'll just go through all of the tabs for you guys to see how is it that it looks. It's just pretty much a filter that allows you to see the specific parts that you just picked. In this case, for example, I pick light and I'll see all of the settings for light. And additionally to that, I will see also the curve, which is very important and very useful for doing some edits. I will go directly though to the details one, because here's what we will find the denoise feature. By default, you have standard, but also you will have some other models that DxO is using in order to denoise your picture. So you would have here DeepPRIME 3 and DeepPRIME XD 2S. So let's pick the best one that it allows me to pick. It will be this one over here. And of course, nothing changes because from this point on, you have to tell how much noise reduction you want. So in this case, for example, for luminance, want more noise reduction. And then you see already how is it that it's looking based on the noise reduction model that I picked. It already looks better than it was looking before, and I can do the comparison. And of course, it will compare it to pre-color corrected picture, but you can see that the noise has also gone for the most part, and it's crazy how this looks. Additionally, you could do some lens sharpening or retouching, but I will not do them for this picture. Already, as you can see, and I will go back to the comparison, it looks quite nice. And from this point on, you can do even more changes that are more stylistic. So for example, you could do some color correction. So let me share with you a few things I love. First of all, no folder organization headaches. PhotoLab automatically scans your computer and shows all the photo folders in the sidebar. I would spend so much time trying to mimic my folder structure in my photo editing app, which is not only a pain in the beginning, but it's also a pain to keep maintained, because every time you make a change in your folder structure, you need to go back to your photo editing software and make the changes there as well. And the second thing I loved were the automatic corrections, which means that you configure things once and you never have to do it again, freeing up time and also mind space. For example, you have 3 levels of exposure correction that every time that you put a picture in the application, it will automatically apply. You can decide to have no corrections at all, you can have some basic lens corrections, or you can apply basic exposure corrections to the photo before you start doing some edits. This over time can be such a time saver and should not be underestimated. And now for the game changers, because I'm going to show you one of the features that DxO just gives you as part of the package, but you have to pay for extra in other editing software, and even on top of the monthly subscription that you will be paying for. What I'm talking about now is the masks and AI masks, to be more precise. And in my previous demo, I didn't go to the last tab here on the right side panel, but I will do it now because here is where you will find the masks. It is called local adjustments, and mainly because this is where you will localize part of the picture and you will make changes there. All you have to do is select local adjustments, turn it on, and then pick which part of the picture you want to edit. So either you can pick an AI mask or select any other way of picking parts of the picture. You can do it by exposure, you can do it by color, you can do it just selecting a special part, you can use a brush, the typical ways of masking. But the one I want to be focusing on right now is AI mask. So I'll click on it, and then immediately you will see that at the bottom of the picture you will have now some controls that will pretty much tell you where you would have to make first the decision of what is it that you want to change. So let's go there. What you would have to do is pick this little user / person at the bottom of the picture and then pick a predefined mask. Here you will find again that pattern that you'll see across all of the application, which is about preset. But for AI, it's quite the standard at this point. So you either pick the sky, you pick the subject, the background, or you can pick animal, people, flower, vehicles, hair, faces, or clothes. So for now, let's go for something straightforward, and that would be people. So let's make it try to find all the people in the picture, which shouldn't be that difficult. And here, as you can see, it has picked my subject, and quite straightforward. I didn't have to fine tune anything, and that's it. And let's say here I would want not to change my subject herself, but actually make changes to the background. Very straightforward. What you would do is to revert the selection. And if you're reverting the selection, what I would recommend is to keep 2 masks, one mask for your subject herself and one mask for the background. That way you can make independent changes to each of them. So what I would do is duplicate the mask and then invert it. All right. So if I take out the mask for the people, so where my subject is, then I will have one mask that is changing the background. And in this mask, I want to lower the exposure so that my character pops up a bit more. So what I would do here is actually not bring down the highlights, but bring them up so that since they are directly behind my character, they kind of create this white background so that the character pops up even more. So let's do that and see how it looks. Yeah, you see, it now looks even better for the character herself. Again, I cannot stress it enough, but if you want to get to this level of AI features in other tools, you will have to pay extra, and here they are just added to the DxO PhotoLab 9 package. So having this kind of features and making sure that they are working locally, it's great in my opinion. And now let me be completely honest about the downsides. The learning curve is one of them, and for me, the biggest one at the moment. After years with other editors, it just takes time to be comfortable with this interface. If you are deeply embedded in the Adobe ecosystem, for example, the transition will require patience, but you will get there, and it's the same pain that you will go through as with any other tool. So it's not specific, let's say, to DxO. But the thing that convinced me to stick with it is the time I save on manual corrections. It actually more than makes up for the learning curve. Plus, we're all kind of done with subscription fatigue, aren't we? So if you're tired of subscription fees eating in your photography budget, DxO is actually worth trying in my opinion. The free trial gives you full access, and again, if you decide to go all the way and make a purchase, you can just my code in the description, which will give you a discount. So drop a comment and tell me, what's your biggest photo editing frustration? Is it the monthly costs? Is it the time spent on corrections? Or maybe it's something else that I haven't talked about? And on the other hand, if you're a bit tired of photo editing and you want to make it a bit more efficient, you can have a look at the video over here where I talk about this topic. And if you want to see more workflow optimization content like this, check out my iOS photo setup video over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.